Hello Godot enthusiasts. Today I'm going to show you how to make a 3D chase camera for, in this case, an aircraft, but it will work for other games as well. So, I'm just going to go ahead and delete the one that I've got. So select your character or vehicle, and then add a child, add a node 3D. And then as a child of that node 3D, you're going to add a camera 3D. So don't move the node, but move the camera back behind the aircraft. So in this case, I'm going to go 6 and 2. And that looks pretty darn good to me. So now we're going to go ahead and add a script to this. So our first variable for this node 3D is going to be reset speed, and that'll just be 0.5. This will be the rate at which it moves back to its original position. Nothing in ready, and then in process, if input dot is action pressed. Jesus Christ, my neighbors are slamming their doors. Throttle up, and in that we're gonna go position dot z plus equals 0.005. Let's run it. And our aircraft is invisible because I forgot to set the camera current. So this will now be our current camera. Okay. And now the camera is moving behind the aircraft. And it's just going to keep going and going because we haven't put any limits on it or told it to come back. So we'll put a limit on it. So position.z equals clamp f position.z. So this will be our minimum value 0 and our maximum value 2. So we'll run it again, and now it will stop right there. Perfect, but it won't come back yet. To make it come back, we will do another one of these, position.z equals, this time, lerp_f, so it'll linear interpolate between the current position.z, so it'll go from there to 0 at the rate of reset speed times delta. So now we'll run it. And I'm pressing the forward button, and then when I release it, it'll come back to 0. And I still don't have anything for any of the other roll, pitch, or yaw axes, but we're going to add those in a sec. I should just mention the reason we're going positive on the Z, even though we're going backward with the camera, is because of the way Godot works. So if you look over here in the inspector on the position on the Z axis, when you move it backwards, it actually goes into positive numbers because the default forward vector is negative in Godot. So if we move the camera forward, you see it's now in negative numbers. So just something to keep in mind. In Godot, forward is negative. All right, so we're going to do the same thing for throttle down. Throttle down. This can be, move backward or UI down or whatever it happens to be in your game. These are just what I've got set up for mine. So now when I press the throttle down key, we'll go forward, press the throttle down. Well, actually it just returns to 0 because that is our limit on our clamp. So we're going to actually just go -2. Keep in mind when you use the clamp function, the smaller number has to go first, and if both of these happen to be negative numbers, the smaller number is going to be the larger negative numbers. So, -2 is actually smaller than -1 because it's further from 0. So keep that in mind. So now we go forward, and then if I hit the throttle down, it'll come backwards to -2, and then it'll stop. So yeah, and then it'll return to 0. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and copy this code and do it for all the other axes as well. So we'll go pitch up. Oops. And then pitch down. And for pitch in particular, I have inverted pitch controls, so I'm going to change the negative and positives around on that one. And instead of position.z, this needs to be rotation.x, because pitch is rotating around the x-axis, as seen in 3D space. So we'll do that, and it will pitch up and down, but it pitches at a pretty steep angle very fast, and it doesn't return to 0 yet, so we're going to reduce this down to 0.001. And then we're going to write another one of these for rotation x. And we're also going to write another clamp also for rotation, except it's going to be a little bit different than this. It's going to be rotation underscore degrees dot x. And then we're going to go to -15 degrees and +15 degrees. If you don't specify degrees, I believe it does it in radians, so just keep that in mind as well. So now when we go like that, and at a certain point it should stop. Yeah. So our pitch controls are working nicely. And now we just need to do for yaw and roll. So again, I'm going to copy this one because I didn't reverse the positive and negatives on that yet. And then instead of rotation x, this is going to be rotation y. And this will be yaw left and yaw right. And again, this will be 0.001. And then we're gonna copy this once again. And we'll do this for our roll as well. And then instead of rotation Y, we're gonna rotation Z, because we will be rotating around the Z-axis when we roll, and the Y-axis when we yaw. And then again, we want to copy this 2 more times, and then we'll just rotate Y and rotate Z. And we'll also copy this 2 more times. Change that to Y and Z. I'm saying Z because I'm Canadian, okay? And now we have pitch, yaw, and roll controls responding to the camera. Isn't that great? I'll just leave you with some flying footage for a bit here. You can pretty much use this this system in a lot of different games. So you could use it for like a third-person game, or if you decided to make a first-person like driving or flying game. I have another version of this that I made for this game where you're inside the cockpit, and it uses a very similar similar way of doing it. So let me know what you think in the comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It certainly helps the algorithm. I know my channel is not very consistent both in upload amount and in content, but it's just stuff I like doing. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I've got. Actually, I'll show you the in-cockpit thing as well. So we'll just shut this camera off and make this other camera current, and that camera, and that should do it. Yeah, so I've got this first-person cockpit thing going on as well. It uses a very similar, almost the same code to rotate and move this cockpit around. So you can apply this kind of thing to a lot of different stuff. So yeah, hopefully this is helpful for you.